Good morning, everyone. Again, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is our second week on authentic journaling. Last week, we opened the door, and this week, we're going to take a little step in by reinforcement. So, by a show of hands, you all that were here last week, who has already started their journaling process or maybe enhanced their journaling process? Oh, good. All right, all right. So I know Rosie was saying she went out and got her journal, so that's a start. All right, so this week we're going through the handout and it's in the chat, so you can follow along. This is more or less our reinforcement week here. Last week we did the teaching, so Coach Q and I will be going through the handout with you this morning and helping you fill that in. So we'll jump right in on that. It's in the handout unless anyone has any questions or concerns before we start on the handout. All right. So one of the most important, one of the most powerful, I won't make up words, one of the most powerful tools, that would be tools, in the learning model of achievement is the tool, again, of writing or journaling. So one of the most powerful tools in the learning model of achievement is the tool, singular, of writing or journaling. That's our first one starting us off. So 3 pillars. Awareness, because it's difficult to change what we're not aware of if we don't know it exists. So awareness, belief, principles within the model. There are steps and processes for everything. Okay, so moving down, writing is used as a tool of enrichment, is that word. Enrichment. That's what personal development is all about, enriching our lives. So writing is used as a tool of enrichment, excuse me. Writing enriches our understanding, enriches our level of thought to the level of contemplation, enriches our conversations with ourselves and our spirit. So understanding, contemplation, and conversations. Any questions on that first part?
Excuse me, what was I didn't get the handout out. You started at the beginning, one of our most powerful, you said tools,
Yes, I'll
tools,
put it back in there for you.
tools in learning
One of
model.
one of the most powerful tools in the learning model of achievement is the tool, singular, of writing or journaling.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, any other questions on that first section? All right, Coach Q.
Right. So moving on in the worksheet, the next portion says authentic journaling will allow you to give a voice to that which is emerging from your soul. Emerging being that blank. So authentic journaling will allow you to give a voice to that which is emerging from your soul. It will allow you to ask questions of yourself that will examine, that's the next blank, your core beliefs and values. So authentic journaling will allow you to give voice to that which is emerging from your soul. It will allow you to ask questions of yourself that will examine your core beliefs and values. Okay? As you know, we're talking about authentic journaling. We're just letting it flow, right? Without really putting too much cognitive thought into it. So that's what we mean right there, is that it's giving voice to that which is inside of you. It wants to come out, right? Letting your subconscious kind of take over in this authentic journaling. So authentic journaling will allow you to give voice to that which is emerging from your soul. It will allow you to ask questions of yourself that will examine your core beliefs and values. The next part is authentic journaling is not about writing as much as it is transcribing. That being the first blank. Authentic journaling is not about writing as much as it is about transcribing a conversation between you and your creative source. So we're saying that this is much bigger, much deeper than just writing things. This is really tapping in, right? And you're transcribing a conversation between you and your creative source. Okay, so that first blank being transcribing, and that second one being conversation. Authentic journaling is not about as writing as much as it is transcribing a conversation between you and your creative source. So there's some steps to this, right? So really step one is set your intention and your purpose. Okay? Set your intention and your purpose. Those two blanks there. Set your intention and purpose. Set your intention and purpose. So the energy and power of intention is the starting point of all the creative motion and dialogue that will take place when you journal. The energy and power of intention is the starting point of all of the creative, which is that blank, motion and dialogue that will take place when you journal. So what is this about? This is about giving you guidance right now. Guidance being a blank. Guidance right now. Your answers with another blank. Not answers filtered through someone else's circumstances, another blank, or agenda. Okay? So this is about giving you guidance right now. Your answers, not answers filtered through someone else's circumstances or agenda. Right? Because how many times do we get caught up in other people's circumstances, other people's agendas, other people's issues, right? So this is not filtered through someone else's circumstances or agenda. And if you remember, there was a little example of that from last week's class of how you can set that intention and purpose. And that was, I am grateful I'm giving myself this time to access my true, authentic self. The purpose for me journaling today is to access the perfect part of me that is all knowing. I access this authentic center here and now for the purpose of discovering, you fill in the blank, right? Whatever you're trying to discover in that moment. For the purpose of discovering blank, I am open to all thoughts that come into my awareness and move me into a place where I'm not writing, but transcribing the conversation with myself and the voice of God within me. Thank you, Father. And it is so, right? So that's an example of how you can set that tone, right? Set that intention and purpose before you start this authentic journaling. Okay. So it's really setting the tone for, um, you know, you're going into this zone, right? Calming down, you're going into this zone and you're being intentional about taking this time to journal, right? And tapping in. That's what it is. Intention and purpose.
Yes. So that was step one. So if there's a step one, there's most likely a step two, right? Step one was, as Coach Q said, set your intention and purpose. Step two, make a commitment. Make a commitment is step two. Just like you all are here today, you made a commitment to be here. And I know a couple on here, Roshan, Laura, and Rosie have been making that commitment for a while to be here. I know
Yep.
over a year for a couple of you, and I think one is going on a year too, Rosie, right?
Yes, the 12th will be a year for me.
All right. Well, thanks for making that commitment to be here. So that was number two, make a commitment. So if we are to be authentic, we must be willing to have and live into, INTO, and from our commitments. That's that first bullet point. Living into and from. Put that in chat, make it easier for everybody. If we are to be authentic, we must be willing to have and live into and from our commitments. Second bullet point, responsibility. You might remember that from the lesson. Responsibility comes with awareness. If we know better, got to do better. Knowing and not doing, like, what's the point? Responsibility comes with awareness. Next bullet point, will we use this new awareness to step forward into growth or backward into our comfort zone? So most of you on here will remember we had a lesson recently about stepping forward, stepping out of our comfort zone. So will we use this new awareness to step forward into growth, first line, or backward into our comfort zone? What are we going to do with it? Next bullet point, authentic journaling requires us to be committed. There's that commitment again. Committed to our growth. Authentic journaling requires us to be committed to our growth. Got to make a commitment. That's why we're here to help you with your commitment to growth. It's what the Leader's Edge is all about, helping you with your commitment to growth. So committed is that word on that one. And the next one, set a time and place to enter into this sacred conversation. Set a time and place to enter into this sacred conversation. I like early morning. I like it as part of my morning routine. Like my devotionals, I like to do my devotionals in the morning, and then my journaling also. I like to journal morning and before I go to bed. Because morning I have things that I want to pour out. And then after the day is spent, I feel like I have things I want to pour out. I feel like it's a culmination. But whatever works for you. And sometimes I don't always get to both, but that works best for me, morning and night. So set a time and place to enter into this sacred conversation. And I think if you consider it sacred, that helps. Step 3, block off the next 30 days. Block off the next 30 days. I was thinking about this whole journaling with this lesson, and I've been journaling for years, but I remembered years ago when I was a teenager, someone gave me a diary. And I remember that was my first time journaling was as a teenager. I think it was maybe for a year or 5 years or something like that. So I thought, wow, that's funny that I was introduced to it so long ago, but I didn't pick it back up for years. One reason is somebody got into my diary. One of my brothers got into my diary and then wrote some crazy stuff in my diary. And I was so upset. I quit the whole thing. But anyway, that's just a little side note. 30 days is what we want to focus on. We'll talk about privacy a little later on. It takes 30 days for most people to literally build the new neural network and pathways for new habits to fire on. So 30 days. And I think it's give or take. We're all different, but 30 days.
Right. Yeah. Different people say different things about how long
Right.
it takes, but we know it takes at least, right, 21 to 30 days.
Mhm.
So keep that in mind with building habits, you know. So step 4 is create your own ritual. Okay, create your own ritual. Ritual being that blank. We are creatures of habit, right? Creatures of habit and ritual. And like Marie just mentioned, it taken 30 days for most people to build the neural network and pathways for new habits to fire on. We got two weapons to fall back on for creating habits, and that's a strong emotional event or repetition, right? So unfortunately, most of the habits that happen through strong emotional events are negative. So what we have to lean on is repetition, right? So this is why it's going to take 30 days or 21 or whatever it is to keep doing it to form this habit. So a lot of times, you come across people say, well, yeah, I tried journaling, it didn't really work for me. I didn't really like it. Or I tried coaching before, right? Or yeah, I tried that thinking positive stuff one time. And it's like, what do you mean you tried it once, right? No, this is a habit, a lifestyle. You continuously do it, right? There's a saying in coaching or an acronym, CANI, CANI, constant and never ending improvement, right? So it's never ending. You got to keep going. So this is what we mean with step 4, create your own ritual. This is part of making it a habit, right? So that next part says the ritual not only supports us by relaxing us, right? Because we have to be in the right mind frame, right? The right mindset. So a lot of times, if you just come in, from work or this stressful situation or these conversations or these meetings or the kids or whatever, of course you're not going to feel like going right into journal, right? Most of the time, or most of us.
Mhm.
Or if you do journal, it's going to be probably venting, right? Not this type of journaling that we're talking about. So it's about creating your own ritual. Okay. So the ritual not only supports us by relaxing us, right? Because we're getting into this zone, we're setting the intention and purpose. If you remember, that was that first step, right? It becomes an anchor of association for the work you're doing. Okay. Meaning that your brain's going to associate how you set your ritual with relaxation, with this is your time to journal, this is your you time, right? Your mind's going to start figuring that out, right? So setting a ritual, that could be anything. That could be your favorite chair, right? It could be going to a park, right? If that's what you wanted to do, or somewhere else. It could be anything. You could dim the lights, you can put a candle on, right? You can put some musical on low or whatever it is. Create your own ritual so that your mind gets trained to say, this is my time to do this authentic journal. This is my time, right, with God. This is my time to see what comes about from this goal that I've been thinking about, or this challenge that I've been thinking about, and let it go, right? So create your own ritual, whatever that looks like for you, right? We're creatures of habit, so this will work for you. So the ritual not only supports us by relaxing, which is that blank, it becomes an anchor, which is that other blank, association for the work you're doing. Okay? It becomes an anchor. Yes, indeed. All right. So that next one is step 5. Write the date at the top or bottom of the page. And really, as you can see, this could be step 1, right? Making sure you write the date. So, but just making sure you get in there. But step 5, write the date at the top or the bottom of the page, because you'll want to come back and see what your progress has been. Okay? Write the date, which is that first blank, at the top or bottom of the page. You will want to come back and see what your progress, that next blank, has been. You know, last week, for those of you who were here, or those of you who weren't here, I mentioned how I love keeping my writings. And I actually get a little irritated when I see one that doesn't have a date, because I'm like, well, when was this? Right? Then I can guess kind of, I guess, the time frame sometimes. But I always try to remember to write the date, because that is part of the magic of this, is when you go back 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, maybe, like I did, you can go back and see what you wrote. I told the story that I had gone through multiple moves and different things like that, and boxes and all these things. And I found these notebooks that I had written in from years ago, probably 10 years prior. And when I was looking through that, I started reading, and I started seeing some goals that I had set for my life, for my business, where I wanted to be, what I wanted to be doing. And you forget, right? You forget, no matter how important or how powerful it seems in that moment, you forget. And when I'm reading these from 10 years prior, I'm starting to look at these goals that I had, and I had checked off almost all of the goals on the list without really realizing. Mm-hmm. And that is a powerful feeling. You know, when you can go back and you can say, oh my goodness, like, yes, did that. Yes, did that. Yes, did that. Working on this, right? You see it right in front of you, right? And that's the proof that how powerful this is. Setting your intention, focusing on what you want, because as we always say, what you focus on multiplies. And you go back and look at that weeks, months, years later and realize, wow, I have made a lot of progress, right? So that's the importance of writing the date. You get to measure your progress, right? Mm-hmm. So write the date at the top or bottom of the page. You want to come back and see what your progress has been. I also gave another example. I believe it was John Assaraf in the movie The Secret. He talked about how he had written down goals and He had written down, things like that. He'd be doing this type of journaling down goals like this, and he had written that he wanted to live in this certain house, or he had an image of it. He had a picture cut out. Same concept, like a vision board, I believe it was. And he had a picture cut out of this certain house. Years later, he's going through boxes. He had just moved, and he finds this image that he had cut out, right? This picture he had cut out of this house that he wanted. And it just blew him away because he realized he was in that very house. He had moved into that house, not one like it, not one that was the same style house. He had moved into the very house that he had cut out of a magazine or something and envisioned himself living in. So, really powerful.
Yes.
Yep. So, it goes like this. I write, spirit listens, right? That's the order. I write, spirit listens. That's that next one. Spirit listens. Here's the thing. You write whatever comes up, right? Don't judge yourself. You can't do this wrong. There is no doing it wrong. Don't judge yourself. You write, spirit listens, whatever comes up. It's just like a lot of times in coaching, we're more interested in your subconscious answers than your conscious responses, right? Because when you start thinking too much, that's when that critical factor comes up. When you say, well, I don't know about that. I don't think I can do that. Well, maybe I can't make that much because that's a little much. No one's in my family's ever made that much, right? No one in my family has ever, started their own business. So we don't want that critical factor to start coming up and talking us out of what we're writing. So this is why we're just letting this process flow, right? I write, spirit listens, write whatever comes up. I don't care if it sounds ridiculous. I don't care if it sounds outrageous, if it sounds like pie in the sky, whatever it is, just write whatever comes up, right? We're doing this non-judgmentally, right? So I write, spirit listens, write whatever comes up, okay? And to add on to that, don't filter it, right? Like I was just mentioning, you don't want to be like, well, hold on a sec. Well, let me not use that word, or let me not say that, right? Well, if I say that, I'm financially free, I'm wealthy, I'm rich, well, maybe that means am I a bad person then if we're wanting that or what? No, don't filter it. Edit, which is that blank. Think or pause, right? You want it to just flow, right? Don't even pause, just let it flow. And you'll be surprised at how well you can do this. And you can do it. When I first tried this, I was thinking, well, you can't pause, to let more thoughts come in. It's like, no, just keep writing. Whatever comes up, just keep writing. Right? And I know Marie mentioned last time, her thing was the editing, right? Because you're looking at the grammar and, punctuation, right? Well, this needs a period here. No, don't even worry about it. Do not worry about it. This will not be graded, right? You don't have to turn this in. Okay. So don't filter, edit, think, or pause while doing this authentic journey. Okay? Filter, edit, think, or pause. And step 6 is tell the truth, the whole truth. Okay? Because once again, this falls into, not filtering, editing, thinking, or pausing. Is a lot of times we're wanting to fall into, well, I'm going to tell what I want, right? Or what I think happened, right? Depending on what you're writing. But it's no, tell the truth. How do you really feel? What do you really want? right? Don't filter it. What do you really want? And just on that note, because I actually was having a conversation about this with a client yesterday, is a lot of times because he's just gotten back into journaling, which he loves to do, but he just hasn't done in a long time. And we talked about the filtering thing, right? And it's like you have to put it out there. You have to let it all go. Tell the whole truth, right? I think sometimes we have this part of us that's like, well, I really want this, but I'm not going to write that or say that because that's too much, right? And we're watering down what we really want. We're watering down our goals, right? And then we talked about how people they'll go into what they don't want, and we don't want you to do that either, you know. So a lot of times you ask somebody, well, what do you want? Right? It's a popular NLP question, coaching question. What do you want? And what do people do typically? They'll tell you what they don't want, right? So what do you want? Well, I don't want, I don't want to be broke anymore. I don't want to be stressing out every day. I don't want people to be testing me all the time like they do. I don't want to be around liars, and right? Okay, we know what you don't want. Now, what do you want? Right? And that's one of those little things that we can all fall into at times. Just be aware of that. And I'll say this is just a side note. Monitor your thinking just on an everyday basis and your words, and notice how many times you talk about things that you don't want versus what you do want.
Right.
And it might shock you. Don't judge yourself, right? It's okay because we've all done it and we all do it at times. But just notice so you can start shifting it, right? And it's okay to stop yourself and say, okay, no, I said this. Well, no, this is what I really mean. And change it. Just change it on the spot. And you start making new connections, right? Those new neural networks, new synapses connections, right? So tell the truth. What do you really want, right? Not what you kind of want, not what would be okay, right? No, what do you want? Tell the whole truth. Okay. What's that saying? The truth will set you free, right? Tell the whole truth, right? The need for speed is that next blank. The need for speed, write fast, right? This is the need for speed. Write fast to stay ahead of your own self-judgment, right? How good is that? Write fast to stay ahead of your own blank self-judgment. That's the blank. Write fast to stay ahead of your own self-judgment. So that goes along with not pausing, editing, or thinking or filtering as well, right? Because when we pause, then we're allowing that critical factor, that self-judgment to come in, right? Because then when you pause, what are you going to do next? You're going to start reading what you just wrote. Then you're going to go up to the top, start reading it and this and that. It's like, what? Hold on a sec. Nah, let me start changing the way I'm writing this, right? No. So you want to write fast, right? Stay ahead of your own self-judgment. As soon as you pause, that's when you're giving yourself time to criticize, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So the need for speed. So what you want to do is write fast to stay ahead of your own self-judgment. And here's the thing. We want you to allow, and also not just allow, expect the topic to shift. It's okay. Like we said in the beginning, you cannot do this wrong, okay? It doesn't have to stay on topic. It doesn't have to follow any rules, right? Except for maybe these ones that we're setting out for not pausing and judging, things like that. But allow and expect the topic to shift, okay? Because we're just flowing, right? Whatever needs to come out is going to come out. So you might finish one section and your subconscious might say, okay, we're done with that. And you might be on to another section, okay? So allow and expect the topic to shift. Just keep going. Okay? Allow and expect topic to shift. And on that note, don't try to make sense of it yet. Okay? Don't try to make sense of it yet, because a lot of times you're trying to figure out, well, hold on, what was I writing about? Well, that don't even make sense because this and this and that. And you're trying to add your logic to it. It's not about that. Don't try to make sense of it yet. You listen, which you is that blank. You listen and spirit writes, right? And remember, you set the tone for this in the beginning, right? You're getting help with this. So don't try to make sense of it yet. You listen and spirit writes. Then spirit talks and you write, right? And what you're doing here, just listen to your intuition, listen to your gut, listen to that still small voice, right? And guess what? One of the most asked questions with this process is, well, how do I know when I've done enough or when it's over, right? How do I know? How long should I be doing this? There's no rules to that. When you are done, you're done. If you feel like you're done, that's it. You've done your authentic journaling for the day, okay, or for that moment. Okay. So there are no that you have to do it for an hour or 30 minutes or 20 or 10 minutes. When you're done, you're done. Sometimes it might be longer than other times. Okay. So when you are done, you are done. That's okay. And the last part, how we kind of seal this up, is create an ending ritual. Remember that we had a beginning ritual, right? And even that thing that you can say in the beginning to kind of set the tone. Maybe you have a special spot that you're going to be sitting in, special place that you go to. You're going to maybe set the mood with a candle, some music that's not distracting, right? That's your beginning ritual. Create an ending ritual. I mentioned that one of our mentors, what he does is he runs his hands over the page that he's just written, he rereads it, and then he notices, are there any insights that immediately jump out, right? So that's something you can do, or maybe you have your own ritual that you'd like to do. But we suggest creating an ending ritual, But I'll repeat that again. What one of our mentors does, he runs his hands over the page, right? Kind of gets that energy and feels what he's just written, right? He rereads it to see if there are any immediate ahas that pop out at him. Because sometimes you'll get those immediate ones that are like, wow, oh my goodness, I didn't think of this before now, right? And sometimes they'll come later. They can come days later, they can come weeks later, they can come months later, right? But he rereads it immediately to see if there's anything that immediately jumps out at him. Are there any insights immediate to me right after writing this? And a lot of times there will be. Sometimes they'll come later, right? So that would be an example of an ending ritual.
Yes, good stuff. I know we're all excited and ready to institute these steps, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you all, number 10, first of all, Coach Q, the funny thing for me with journaling is when I fall asleep, I will fall asleep and continue writing. So the thing that I'm often trying to figure out is what was I thinking when I wrote that? Because it will be totally unrelated to the rest of my journaling. Like the other day, I wrote something like, nobody is concerned about something. And I was like, what's nobody concerned about? Like, why did I, just in the middle of my journaling or at the end, I wrote something that nobody's concerned about. One time I wrote something about dancing. Mother Mays, you might relate to me on that one. I wrote something about dancing. And I was like, why did I write something about dancing? So the subconscious mind just keeps working and you keep writing, you're not even aware. So anyway, that happens to me. Kind of frequently. So I just roll with it. I'll put like quotations around it, or I'll put little question marks on the side, like, I don't really know where that came from, but I'm leaving it there. So this next number 10, I think you all can answer this. Do not use a what? We've been talking about writing and pen and paper. Do not use a what? Who knows it?
A tape recorder or a computer or whatever.
Bam!
Eraser? Nope.
Bam! Do not use a computer. Now, Jerry gave you all a little
Oh,
pass in the
computer.
beginning, but do not use a computer. That is correct. Perfect. I knew you'd get it. I knew it. I had faith in you all. You have to think to write. Writing causes thinking. And this is another thing I talked about with my the invasion of my diary. Keep it private. Much of what you transcribe is in process, and you can't freely enter into that space to process if you risk being judged for your thoughts or feelings. So you probably don't have to worry about a little brother going in and getting in your diary and writing things, but you still want to keep it private. Just keep it private. Somebody might get a little snoopy. I say, oh, what's this book? So keep it private. Private is the first one, and judged is that next one. So that actually brings us to the end of these questions, and we have about 14 minutes or so. So let's get your takeaways so far.
Yeah. And just real quick on the computer thing, do not use a computer. Some people might be wondering why that is. And there's just something powerful about writing, you know.
Right.
I always say that, writing is like taking something from this metaphysical kind of world of your mind where things are just all over, and it's bringing it down through our arm onto paper. And that's the first time that goal, for example, would be right here on this realm with us, right? I know Mary Morrissey talks about everything is created twice, once in the mind and then in the physical world. So to me, that just makes sense that you just bring it down into this physical world through your hand and write. There's just something powerful about it that I think a computer can't give you. And also, as we also mentioned last week, never seen anybody type, even people that type fast. I type pretty fast. My mom types pretty fast, even Marie. So I've never seen anybody, even fast typers, that don't pause and look up at the screen, make sure the grammar's right, punctuation, and all that stuff before they continue, which allows that self-judgment thought to come in. So we do suggest you writing. Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, I see Laura has her hand up.
I just want to mention, thank you for the lesson or the insight. I do have a book and I called it Thoughts. And I did implement dating, the exact date of when I put this comment. I only made one entry. I didn't give it enough energy. I didn't do like I wanted to, but I did create at least one thought, and I mentioned about the weather because that was instantaneously.
Right.
And the idea about not using a computer, you do think too much. You just concentrate on your thoughts, and when you write, it's free flowing. Like you said, it's free flowing. So I'm going to give it more energy this week for sure. Definitely for sure. But last week I said, let me start something. And I grabbed the book and called it Thoughts, dated my thought, and that's where it ended. But I'm going to continue in a more positive manner and not use the computer.
Yes.
Excellent.
Love it. Thank you for sharing that. And looks like Laura's already on it, but this is your assignment for today is I know some of you've already started, but we do want you to practice authentic journaling, right? Can't do it wrong. Just try it. Just journal. Journal for the next week, at least. We're saying 30 days, but at least the next week, so we can talk about it next week. Okay. So practice that journaling, and we're going to talk about that next week before we go into the lesson. And on that note, next week will be the last class of this month because of Christmas. Okay, so we're going to combine the mastermind and the Q&A into next week's class, just so you know. So we will not be here for Christmas. We will let you enjoy your Christmas with family and friends. Okay.
Yes.
But let's continue. Who else? What's your biggest takeaway from today or up until today, the last couple lessons with Authentic Journal? What's standing out for you?
What happened?
Giovanni?
Um, wait a minute. I thought about spirit, not to filter myself. Don't worry. Go along with, let it flow, and don't try to change my thought of the process in that moment. And just go with the flow in my mind in writing. Although I've never journeyed before, did a journey before, journal before, but I find this very interesting to think about getting my thoughts together and in one place.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So you have to let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it next week. Love it. Love it. I think you'll find that it's a pretty powerful process. Can be very therapeutic as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I love it.
Okay, who's next? What's your takeaway? What are you taking away from this lesson?
I want to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I guess in a way I'm always used to things being assignment, doing it because I have to do it. I'm gonna really make sure I relax and just make it fun. If I've done any journaling, it's been like an assignment. I'm always used to doing things because I have to do it. It's an assignment, and all this. So I'm gonna have to really focus in my mind, no pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it just for me. It's no
Yep.
big deal. I gotta practice just how to relax. I'm so used to doing things because I have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Assignment, it's a must, it's a requirement,
Yep.
all that stuff. When you've constantly been involved in your schooling and doing this, if I've done journaling, I know it had to been something because I had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just get my head space in and just make myself focus. This is something I have to do. So it's going to be a process to me just to relax in a way like this. It's just like making it a part of your life, which I wasn't necessarily used to. I did writing and things because I had to, or I'm writing information that I want to get, I want to remember. It's always coming from somebody else, but this is just going to be me. So this is a new way of thinking for me.
Yeah. And I have a suggestion. It's not going to be a process. It's going to be easy. It's going to be
Yeah.
easy for you to relax, right? And
Yes.
follow those steps. Set a ritual, right? What would help you relax, right? Your favorite spot or a nice spot, comfortable spot, right? Whatever that might look like for you. Maybe get some, some hot tea with, right? Whatever it is, right? And relax and just go into it. And it's going to be
Yes.
easy and you're going to love it. So good. Thank you for sharing that. I believe Courtney was going to say something as well.
Oh,
Well, I hear. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, no, this is really, really powerful. This is my first time here, so I thank you all for having me.
Welcome.
But this really brings journaling up to a forefront, in a way that I haven't experienced before. So, I need to, I do dream journaling, but I would like to implement something like this where it's more with the intention and purpose, like you were teaching today.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to come back next week. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Who's next?
absolutely.
Got Roshan, Sandra, Yasha.
I'll go. I wouldn't say I journal, but I have a habit, and I don't do it anymore since I've gotten older. But when I was younger, if I used to write letters to people about the things that happen or things that upset me or something like that. But the thing is, I still have those letters. I never mailed them. I don't, and I'm not sure why I didn't. I just found something that I wrote in 1992. And
Wow.
I, and I wasn't looking for it per se. I mean, I had forgotten all about that. I used to do it. And I just happened to go in I went in my back bedroom and I'm like, let me pull this. It's like a day bed, and I pulled that out and I found a whole folder with this stuff in it. I'm like, oh my God, did I used to do this? And I'm like, I'm glad I'm grown now. I mean, hey. But I think today is I know I can do it, but it's just I need to take the time to do it because now it's like so much is going on right now that I just seem like I took a week last week and did something for myself and took a vacation for my birthday. So that was
Great.
it. So, and I have to start doing things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could, on that note, there is no time limit that you have to abide by,
Hmm.
set a timer for 5 minutes, right? And just let it flow,
Yeah.
right? Do that, have a ritual and then set a timer for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because that's more than 0 minutes, right?
Yes, it
Right.
is. Yes,
Yep.
yes, it is.
So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Maybe tap back into that writing, right? That's
Yeah,
cool that you saw stuff from 1992.
Mm-hmm.
All
I
right,
did.
what about Roshan or Yasha?
Yeah, yeah, it's powerful. Well, as you all know, I write like my wins for the day. I try to, and writing without thinking. This is a new one, and so I definitely will have to set my ritual, like you said, do about 5-10 minutes, and just I guess start free writing. So I'm interested in what will come up for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Let us know next week.
Good
For
morning.
sure.
Yep. Good morning, Yasha.
I was as I'm listening to you talk, one of the things is I've been trying to get, let me first say this. This is a huge win. I have a college graduate. Last Friday morning, my son graduated from Texas Southern University. And
Nice.
we all went down, had a great weekend. I'm so excited. We did it, now I'm like 3 to go. And so anyway, these are just like the little wins of like what I would like to do. And now all these pictures and videos of my kids are showing up from 10 years ago, 2015, 2016, of how small they were and the things that we talked about back then. And so I constantly find like, or I'll go through these journals of when I wrote things down, and I'm a date person as well. Or same thing with like prayers. I like the YouVersion Bible app that you'll write a prayer down and it'll give you a date and then it'll come back and say,
Mm-hmm.
what's the update on it? You can put in your update to say, like, hey, so what's happening now? What's the answer? We did prayer boards with our children. I teach the teen class at our church, and and we did prayer boards, and one of the envelopes says answered. And so it's cool to be able to take out what you were praying about and then see, hey, this is what the prayer that's been answered. Anyway, 75 hard is a goal that I would like to do. And so as you're talking today, I was thinking about it like, man, if I could just get back to working out the way I used to. I used to work out so intensely. And I'm always allowing things to just come up and interrupt it. So I want to get back to a place where I can, if I'm writing down in a journal, like if it's just 10 minutes, set an alarm, do 10 minutes. And then that ritual just seems like it's so hard. Like no matter what I'm trying to do, it just seems like it takes whatever, forever. So I've been trying to read more, read 15 minutes a day. And I looked at my book today and was like, okay, you'll do it later. And then later comes and I'm falling asleep. So this was just a good reminder of, I can do it if I really set my mind to it and write it down, put a date on it. So it's very encouraging in the class, but that's something that I'm taking away with me. Just set an alarm, just try to get a ritual. I was able to do 10 minutes this morning. It wasn't a whole lot, but I was able to do 10 minutes of a workout, a lower body, no weights, just all body weight. And it was so hard. But the win is I did it. So last year it was about, I don't know if y'all remember, but I was talking about cleaning my desk off. And I have been cleaning and keeping my desk clean just a little bit at a time and not trying to be so overwhelmed with trying to do everything at one time. And so that's something that I also keep doing. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And yeah, just like you mentioned, it's about starting, right? I always remember this quote. They say the heaviest weight in the gym is the front door.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. So got to start with any of this stuff, right? So good for you. Good for you. All right, my people, we are at the hour. Thank you all for coming and participating. And I'm looking forward to hearing about your experience with this authentic journaling next week. Okay. And once again, remember next week will be the last week of this series here. Of authentic journaling because of Christmas the following week where we will not be here. Okay. So does anyone have anything else? Jerry, you have anything? E.
No, we're at the time. We'll see you next week.
Yes.
And you guys have a wonderful week.